Lecture 8. Today we'd like to look at a lesson that is going to focus on one particular expression, and that is how to express obligation. Expressing obligation and, in a way, much less intensity, giving advice is sometimes a method used in writing. When you write something and you want to tell the reader, you want to advise the reader that something is feasible to do, is appropriate to do, that means you're kind of giving him or her advice. And in some situations, you want to express to the reader that there is a sense of obligation to what you are saying. And in order to do that, we use modals. And the modals are must, have to, and should. These are common words, I'm sure, that you probably all know. And they sound familiar, I'm sure. And in many cases, I think you probably already know how to use them. Let's take an example. Giving advice. You can give advice using the modals should and shouldn't. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. Example, you should do your homework every night. You shouldn't spend a lot of money. You need to save it for a vacation. So you should do your homework, and you shouldn't spend a lot of money. You see, in that sense, I'm advising you. I'm not obligating you. That means I'm giving you the option to decide. All I'm saying is that you should. I'm not saying that it has to happen, but you should. So it's a little bit lenient, more lenient than obligation. It's advice. Now let's look at obligation, and let's see how that kind of sentence would sound like. You can express obligation using the modals have to, don't have to, and must. Expressing obligation means stating whether an action is necessary or not necessary. An example, we have to turn in our papers tomorrow. We don't have to type them. So, we have to, and we don't have to. So, you have two obligations in these two statements or sentences. We have to turn in our papers tomorrow, or our homework, or our assignments tomorrow. But, on the other hand, we don't have to type them. You can submit them in handwriting. They must arrive on time, or we will leave without them. They must arrive. So, that's another obligation. They must arrive on time. Right. So let's go back one more time and compare giving advice and expressing obligation. So with advice, you can give advice using the modals should and shouldn't. An example of that would be, you should do your homework every night. And you shouldn't spend a lot of money. You need to save it for a vacation. Compare that to, you can express obligation using modals have to and don't have to and must. Expressing obligation means stating whether an action is necessary or not necessary. Examples: we have to turn in our papers tomorrow. We don't have to type them. And they must arrive on time, or we will leave without them. Right. Let's see activity 51, activity 2, on page 51. We should do this together. So if you turn to your books to page 51, you'll see a topic such as paying taxes. That's in number 1, and you can see that it's already done for you. So paying taxes. You can say, of course, what you should do in this exercise is write a sentence using must, must not, have to, not have to, should, or should not. And the first sentence is about paying taxes. Now, the solution is written for you here, and it's everyone should pay taxes no matter how much money he or she makes. Now, the second topic is underage driving. Underage driving is a topic. Now, what kind of modal would you use? Would you use must, must not, have to, not have to, should, or should not? And this is underage driving. So what do you think? Underage driving, of course, is dangerous, and it's against the law. If someone is too young to drive, he or she shouldn't really be driving, because that would be dangerous on the driver and the people in the street. So would you use advice or obligation? I agree with you if you choose obligation. So probably must not would be more appropriate in this situation. So underage driving, a sentence could be underage driving must not be allowed in any country. Underage driving must not be allowed in any country. Another topic is spending a lot of money to clean up the environment. The environment is important, and keeping it clean is very important. So what do you think? Should we use obligation or advice? In this situation, I think both, using either is okay. It depends on the intensity or the topic you were trying to express or talk about when it comes to the environment. So you could either say we should spend a lot of money cleaning up or to clean up the environment. That's good. That's better than spending a lot of money to destroy the environment. And you might not be an environmentalist and you don't care about the environment, and you might say we shouldn't spend a lot of money cleaning up the environment. It depends on what you think, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't care about the environment and see that it's spending a lot of money in taking care and preserving the environment to be clean is not something Very good. They would say we would rather have better schools and hospitals than better environment, than a clean environment. So there is a point of view here. But of course, I'm assuming that the people who would want better schools and hospitals would also want a better environment. But what they're saying is that we shouldn't spend a lot of money. We should spend some money, but not a lot. Lying or giving money to the poor. Giving money to the poor. Some people would say we must give money to the poor. And some other people would say we should give money to the poor. What about lying? One must not lie. I don't think anyone can disagree with that, because being truthful is better than lying in any culture and any situation. So, yeah, you have a topic and you have to decide whether to use obligation or advice. There are 3 items left. We've done 5 together. Try to do the rest on your own on page 51. I'd like to stop here. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck.